You know that feeling when you're standing in the middle of a brand new, bustling city, but it kind of feels like you're just watching it all happen from behind a pane of glass? Well, today, we're going to dive into a method that promises to completely shatter that glass and totally transform how you experience any city. It's a pretty simple question, right? But it gets right to the heart of this common problem we all have when we travel. We show up, we see the thing, we snap the picture, but are we really connecting with the place? This whole explainer is about making that shift from just being a spectator to actually becoming a participant in the life of a city. All right, so let's start by digging into this challenge, this feeling of being a detached observer. It's that classic outside looking in vibe, even when you're literally surrounded by all these amazing new sights and sounds. I mean, think about it. So much of travel can feel like you're just ticking boxes off a checklist, right? See the monument, check. Visit the museum, check. Eat at that one famous restaurant, check. And sure, it's efficient, I guess, but we end up missing all the small stuff, the real human-scale details. The everyday textures that are what actually make a place feel special and unique. Okay, but what if there was a way to completely change that checklist approach? Well, there's this book series called InCity Itineraries that offers exactly that. And it's really not a standard guidebook. It's more like a whole new method for exploration. So here's the absolute key. The city itself becomes your guide. This approach isn't going to give you a list of facts or a bunch of historical dates. No, it's all about teaching you a practice, a way of moving through a place, a way of observing that actually lets the city's own story unfold right in front of you. And the cool thing is, you don't do this alone. The whole method is shown through the eyes of these two companions, Arav and Mira. We get to follow them as they explore the city of Visakhapatnam. It's almost like you're a third person on the walk with them, just kind of listening in on their journey. And what they're doing, their whole journey, is really a practice of a few key things. First, turning just a casual conversation into this moment of sustained noticing. Then, learning to walk the city like you're a reader learning a brand new script. And finally, finding these little private openings in a very public space. It's not about big, dramatic discoveries, you see. It's all about the small stuff. And this quote really gets at the human element of it all. See, their exploration isn't some clean academic exercise. It's messy. It's real. And it's through their back and forth, the little jokes they tell, even their disagreements and quiet moments, that the city truly comes alive as a lived experience, not just a collection of facts on a page. Okay, so this all sounds great, right? But how do you take this kind of abstract idea and turn it into something you can actually, do? Well, the book lays out a really simple 4-part ritual that gives a clear structure to every single walk. And it's this super clear, repeatable framework. You start with a walk, right? Then you dive into the energy of a market. After that, you find somewhere by the water, a beach, a river, whatever, and just watch. And finally, you wrap it up with a small personal ritual. This could be anything, like getting a cup of coffee at the same time each day, or finding a bench to just write down one thing you noticed. It's all about creating that little moment of pause. And the goal here is actually pretty powerful. You're turning what could just be aimless, solitary wandering into a quiet, repeatable habit. It takes that feeling of, I'm just walking around, and gives it this gentle structure, turning it into a real mindful practice, a habit you can build on and honestly use absolutely anywhere. All right, so let's talk about what makes this approach so different. What is the fundamental shift here? What makes this idea of reading a city so completely different from the way we usually do tourism? And when you put them side by side, the difference is pretty stark. On the one hand, you've got your traditional guidebooks. They focus on reportage and theory, right? They give you these fixed descriptions. But on the other hand, you have the InCity method. And this is all about privileging your own observation and the natural rhythm of a place. The goal isn't to get facts, it's to create these unique, lived moments. Basically, that's the crucial shift. It's moving from being a passive consumer of information, reading about something that happened here once, to being an active participant. You are right there, present, watching and feeling the scene as it's happening in real time. Okay, and this, for me, is where it gets really, really exciting. Because this isn't just a lesson in how to visit one specific city. It's a whole toolkit of skills that you can literally take with you anywhere you go. I mean, think about it. The 4-part ritual, this practice of sustained noticing, this whole idea of reading the city's script, These are universal tools. You can use this method in Paris or Tokyo, and this is the cool part, you can even use it in the town you've lived in your entire life. So ultimately, this is what you learn. It's not about just collecting souvenirs or photos. You're learning how to look. You're learning how to listen. And most importantly, you're learning how to bring a city's everyday textures home with you. You're capturing the feeling of a place, its texture, and you get to carry that richness with you long after you've left. And that really leaves us with a final, powerful question. This whole method isn't just for when you're on vacation. It's really an invitation to look at your own neighborhood, your own city, with completely fresh eyes. So, what stories will you find when you learn to read your own city? What hidden narratives are waiting for you, maybe just right outside your front door?